Dude, I'm bored.
Yeah, me too. It's too quiet in here.
Yeah, hey, I know. You know what we need? We need some old school beats.
Yeah. Hey, DJ Coolerbot, get on the ones and twos and spin up some heat rocks.
Okay, crew, let's kick it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Is this
dude.
Te Deum Laudamus?
You know it, bitch.
Yes, dude. This song gets me so hyped. Makes me want to do some crazy shit.
Dude, me too. Idea. I got
What's
an
up?
idea. Brain blast.
What are we doing?
Dude,
What's up?
let's go raid Area 51.
Fuck yes. Welcome to Crew Expendable. I am corrupt top secret Dr. Hallstrom.
And I am the bastard Rohrbacher.
I feel like you've used that one before.
I may have, I don't remember, but I definitely got it from this story. Well, one of the stories.
Yeah. Well, that's fine. You can use it every time if you want. It's our show.
I mean, I still got it from the thing that we're covering, so it should be fine.
It counts. You're going to use it every time it pops up.
I mean, I didn't do it on purpose, but now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, maybe. What are we, Neil?
We are shipwrecked sailors stranded on alien franchise island.
Love it. That's the best one yet.
It's not.
It works though, so it's fine.
How's it going, Kenny?
It's going. Been working a lot, just like you have. I think I might be starting to get sick.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Great time for
Looking forward to the next few days. Yeah.
Great time for a Crew Expendable podcast recording that I will not have time to edit much.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
We've both been we've had a hard time scheduling this one. Long story short, we've scheduled and rescheduled and moved it around for various reasons several times.
Mm-hmm.
Changed our minds about what we were doing. Cut some content. Still had to reschedule.
Yeah. Yeah.
And here we are.
Here we are
doing this on a Monday evening. It's firmly Monday night now.
I would agree to that. Yeah.
What I would call a school night because we both have work tomorrow.
We sure do. Yeah.
Yeah. And because of all of these scheduling pressures and, the pressures of the holidays in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were like, we got to choose something that we can get in and out of pretty easily. Just, keep some episodes coming from now, probably through the end of the year. And we don't want it to be a comic book because, goddamn, we've done a lot of those lately.
Yeah, the one problem is that, as I'm pretty sure mentioned on the show before, like 70% of the alien content that exists is comic books. So on one hand, it's hard to avoid doing a lot of them. On the other, that means that because there are so many, you just get fucking tired of reading comic books after a while.
Yeah. I mean, I could keep going, but we need to break it up, change it up a little bit.
Yeah. We need to mix it up, and we need to bust out a format that we haven't done in a while.
Sure. So we're reading non-picture books.
But not novels, notably.
Not a novel. We were thinking about doing a novel, and then I was like, hey, why don't we do a selection of short stories from the Aliens versus Predators Ultimate Prey anthology?
And then I went, that sounds like a great idea, Neil. Nice work. And then sent him a thumbs up.
Yeah, I believe you did. Just shoot me a thumbs up. And I was like, well, I guess this means he's on board. Doesn't seem too enthusiastic about it.
Yeah, I thought it sounded like a neat idea. Yeah. Like I said, we haven't done one of those in a while.
Similar to when we were doing the Bug Hunt anthology, which we never finished, but that's okay. We save some stuff for a rainy day, right?
Yeah, we can always come back to it.
We're going to do a selection of stories from the Aliens versus Predators, notably Aliens versus Predators, plural, Ultimate Prey anthology here, edited by Jonathan Mayberry and Brian Thomas Schmidt. We just chose the first two for this episode.
Mm-hmm.
We were like, let's just kick it off with the first two out of this, and get a taste for what this whole thing is about. And boy, were these some interesting stories, and boy, have they gone a little cold for me because it's been like a week since I read them.
Yeah, it's been a little over a week. We just read the first two stories, and they are extremely different from each other to the point where, like, just reading just the two of these gives you a good sense of just, like, the variety of stuff that this book is likely to contain.
Strange bedfellows, but
yeah,
I thought that they were both very cool, very fun stories.
So this is just a regular feature of the show now. We're just going to right up front talk about how whether we liked them or not. Okay, I thought both these stories were great and I loved them.
Okay, awesome. I like that. I think that this should be, we should kind of get a feel for how we're doing with this stuff right up top here. Okay.
Cool. Yeah, that works for me. Yeah. I thought both these stories were really fun.
Nice.
I enjoyed them a lot for different ways, or for different reasons, I should say.
Yeah. So for people unfamiliar with this book, it's a collection of short stories that all involve aliens and predators. I haven't read the whole thing.
I mean, we haven't. I've only read these two stories, so I'm assuming that the rest of them also follow that formula.
The log line here is it's inspired by the events of the original Aliens versus Predators movies, graphic novels, and novels. All new tales from the expanded AvP universe. So we're talking inspiration from the films, the Dark Horse comics, the presumably any of the novelizations that have come out, maybe the Rage War trilogy. Who knows what's going on in this thing, right?
I believe this book came out in 2022, I think. So
yep.
My point is it's pretty recent, so like it has most of the AvP canon to like use as a reference point, because this is one of the most recently released things in AvP, like relatively speaking.
Yeah, and nothing was off the table, right? They were allowed to pull from whatever inspired them, it seems. Which I think is a fun way to do an anthology novel, a fun way to do a book in any case, right? Not to be tied to like, well, that's not really canon anymore, and that kind of stuff. No, just make a fun anthology and go nuts. Who cares? Especially for guys like us who are not like steeped in AvP lore or Predator lore in general, right?
For sure. Yeah. My understanding is that I believe there is a sequel story to Aliens Phalanx in this book too.
Oh, that's fun. I'm glad we read that for the podcast.
Well, it's not one of the stories we covered today, so it's fine.
Several of the stories feature characters from other films and novels in the Alien and Predator franchises, including Lila and Crean from Aliens Phalanx and Hanzo from Predators. I believe the story about Hanzo from Predators is written by the actor from the movie.
I believe it is too. I think they talk about that in the intro to the book.
Yes, Louis Ozawa wrote the story where Hanzo's brother faces the Yautja and the Xenomorphs. Yep.
And every time you say that, Eva Green voice, you say it with such disdain.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't.
It's so fucking funny to me.
I don't like it, but what are you gonna do? It's out of my hands.
Nothing apparently.
I don't know. We read two for this, and I'm proposing to you now, Kenny, since we both had a blast reading these two stories, before we even discuss them on this podcast, maybe we pick another couple for the next episode. Maybe we finish out the year reading some the year of recordings, reading some more selections from the Ultimate Prey anthology here. We'll pick those off. We'll pick those off air, and I'm putting this up at the top because maybe people have some opinions in the comments right up top of which stories we have to talk about, right? Because there's 15 stories. For sure. We aren't doing 7 episodes on this,
Yeah.
We're going to do like 2, maybe 3 more. Probably realistically 2 more.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put it up top. This episode, we are covering the first 2 in the anthology, Below Top Secret by Chris Ryall and Isla Matanzas. Sorry, Isla Matanzas. And sorry in advance for all my poor Spanish pronunciation, by Stephen L. Sears. So if anyone else there is like, no, you have to cover this story. You got to hit this one. YouTube comments, Instagram, DMs, you know how to get a hold of us, mother@crewexpendable.net.
And also, please do not suggest that we do the sequel to Phalanx, because we haven't covered Phalanx on the show yet.
Yeah, unless it's like really not a major sequel.
Yeah.
That'd be okay.
If it's like standalone, then maybe, but like, come on.
Right. If it's very
Be reasonable,
standalone,
guys.
If it's a very standalone thing, then maybe. But yeah, drop us some recommendations for other ones that we should do. I think that'd be a fun way to tackle this thing.
For sure.
Yeah. See which ones Stuart wants us to take a look at, huh? Hey, Stuart, which ones of these should we read?
Yeah.
Yeah. Stuart. Yep.
Why are we talking to Stuart?
Because he's going to pick one. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Okay.
Is it Peppers and Glowworms? I think that's the name. I bet you've got one in mind on the YouTube channel. I hope I got your name right.
Yeah.
I'm close. I'm very close if that's not it.
Make your decisions and get back to us.
I know The Predator is your favorite movie. I hope I'm doing the bit to the right person. Anyway,
indeed. Yeah, we're here to talk about these 2 dang stories.
Yes. Let's jump into well, I think it makes sense to do them in chronological order as opposed to publishing order as opposed to chronological order. Rather. Guys, it's late.
In other words, we do the first one first. Got it.
Yeah, then we'll do the first story first as opposed to the one that takes place in history first.
Fair.
Yeah, and we'll start with the story Below Top Secret by Chris Ryall. I want to touch on Chris Ryall briefly here.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought this bit was kind of cool here. Chris Ryall is formerly the former president, publisher, and chief creative officer of IDW Publishing.
Oh, sick. I actually didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, pretty tight.
What did it say when he used to do it?
2004 to 2019.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's also.
I may have read some stuff that he oversaw then.
Did you ever read Zombies versus Robots? Because that's his book. With
I did not.
With Ashley Wood, who I'm a big fan of. Fantastic artist.
Well, I bought some IDW comics back in the day, and I think it was from that period of time, but I'm not sure. If it was, it would have been like earlier in that period of time. But I think I did buy some comics that weren't made by him, but they were like made while he was overseeing what comics they were making.
I think I have one of the Zombies versus Robots books over on my shelf right now. I'm not sure if he did all of them or one of them, and I'm not sure which Zombies versus Robots book I have. So
I, meanwhile, bought their Silent Hill comic, one of the runs they did.
Nice.
I want to say it was Dying Inside, because like Dark Horse, IDW didn't do comics monthly. They do them in arcs, where they'll just do an arc and then they just won't print any more of the comic until several months later when the next arc is just done, and then that'll just come out. And so I think it was the first 4 issues of the Silent Hill comic were all one arc, and I think the subtitle for it was Dying Inside, and I have that. I don't think I ever bought any of the other Silent Hill comics they made, though.
Okay. Well, I don't think he was obviously overseeing things. That wasn't one that he wrote.
Oh, no, it wasn't. That comic was definitely made by Ashley Wood and Ben Templesmith for sure.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
I have his Zombies versus Robots versus Amazons. That's the one I have. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Solid work. Ashwood, he's a maniac. That guy's.
Yeah, he's something.
Yeah. Anyway, Chris Ryall, pretty cool dude. Pretty insane story.
It is definitely really weird. Neil, I'd like to ask you something.
Sure.
Do you remember back a few years ago, there was like a viral Facebook meme about people wanting to raid Area 51?
I do. Yes. Weren't they all
All right,
gonna Naruto run into Area 51 or something?
Yeah, I think so. This story posits the question, what if they did that again?
Yes.
Is basically the premise of this story.
Yes. The premise of the story is it takes place during an Area 51 raid social media event, but two people actually managed to sneak into actual Area 51 during it.
Yeah, and they meet some aliens, and based on the title of the book we're reading, you can probably guess what the aliens are that they meet.
Yes. Those two characters are April, who's kind of our main, she's really the main character, right? Like,
yeah, she is. Yeah.
We get her sort of thoughts and perspective on things, and the dumbass who gets her into all this trouble is a guy named fucking Brockton.
Brockton,
Which,
yeah, that's the only name we're ever given for him. And for the record, neither April nor Brockton are ever physically described, as in like what they look like in this story. So the entire time I was reading this story, I was picturing April as April O'Neil and Brockton as Eddie Brock.
Eddie Brock, okay. I was not picturing Brockton as Eddie Brock. I was. They were both kind of amorphous masses in my head.
Yeah, that makes sense because, like I said, they're never given a description. So as far as we know, they're just blobs that can talk. But
Brockton was just the kind of person with the name Brockton.
I got you.
If
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Who would be on the internet communicating with someone claiming to work at Area 51 and giving him his college money in order to get access to the facility through access codes and things.
Yeah, well, and the thing of it is, though, is that it actually works. Like, the guy actually did work at Area 51, turns out, and the codes did let him get into their secret lab. So,
yes,
I guess he's not that dumb after all.
What was Brockton's relationship to April? He was like the friend of a friend or something that she
I
event.
believe he's described as a friend of a friend that they had never met before they went to go do this,
right.
And they were just like hanging out and partying. And he goes, "Hey, we can. If you come with me, I bet I can get us in to see the real aliens." And she's like, "Oh yeah, sure, okay." And so they just like drive off into the desert, and then he actually does do that.
Yeah, they count on the actual raid to distract everybody so that they can sneak in.
And for the record, I want to be clear, this story does not take place during the viral Facebook Raid Area 51 meme. Like, they specifically state in this story when they're talking to one of the scientists are like, "Oh no, they've done it a second time," right. Which means that the viral one did happen, and then this story takes place in a theoretical, what if they did it a second time?
What if they did it again? Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting setup for a story, right? I like the Area 51 concept. For an alien predator thing.
It seems very obvious to the point where I'm like, wow, why did they never do that before?
Well, because they're so busy setting everything in the future, or I guess now kind of setting some things in the past, like with Prey and some other predator stories, right? There's not enough stuff set present day, except for the Alien versus Predator movies, which nobody liked.
Fair.
Yeah. I guess. I don't know.
I mean, you're not saying anything that's wrong or like isn't proof of the being the answer to the question I'm asking. So you've got me there. You're correct. Yes.
This is a but this is a
Just imagine if Alien Earth took place in Area 51, dude.
oh, then maybe it'd have a reason to be called Alien Earth.
We're not getting into that. I said that as a joke. We don't need to have this conversation. Let's keep going.
Okay. All right. Okay. Anyway, bottom line is he gets access. He's got these access codes. Fucking Brockton got these access codes, figured out like how to navigate to an elevator that this 1-story building shouldn't have. But he's like, the real base is below this building. Whoa.
Yeah, and then he busts out the code that he got, the access code. And for the record, he literally has the password written on the inside of his forearm. And like, to be perfectly frank, respect, you know?
Sure. That's how that's how they get in the door. And then he's got the access code for the elevator memorized, which is like a pattern of like black and white alternating buttons you have to press in the right sequence.
Yeah.
And he and April get down to the actual facility, and immediately shit is not going well.
Yeah, they get down to a lower floor, and they immediately literally bump into a Dr. Renfro, who like gets really upset and pissed off that they're there. Not because they're like trespassing, not like in the sense of, oh, you don't have authorization to be here. He's mad because he's like, people generally shouldn't be down here because there is something going wrong and you need to get out of here. And then immediately we figure out what that wrong thing is when during the middle of the conversation, a xenomorph comes down from the ceiling and I think literally rips the guy's head off.
Yes.
It either rips his head off or cuts him in half. I don't remember which, but I'm pretty sure it like breaks him into pieces somehow.
Tail whipping back and forth, coming within inches of April and Brockton. I mean, it attacks him for like it attacks him. It cuts a large jagged X across his chest. It tores through clothing, flesh, and muscle with little resistance. Yeah, he just sort of tears him apart. It might. Oh yeah. The man's head had been so thoroughly savaged that it tore free and rolled crookedly away. So
there you go.
All of the answer is all of the above.
Yeah, the xenomorph literally ripped this guy into pieces. Yes. And so they go, yikes, and run off, I think, into another lab room where there is like a second doctor, and she's the one where she's like, oh my God, you're not supposed to be here.
Right. She calls for them. They're watching Dr. Renfro get torn apart, and they're like, jinkies. And then someone's like, hey, Zoinks, come on this way. And they're like, jeepers, let's go. And they make their way over to Dr. Amy Kupia, who is like, you guys are trespassing, you fucking idiots.
And then she's like, but you know what? We got bigger things to worry about right now. So the three of us are going to go into a panic room, like in the David Fincher movie Panic Room. And they go, you got it.
Yeah. We've got food, we've got water, we've got cots, we got blankets, and we've got a DVD copy of David Fincher's Panic Room.
That's right.
We're all set.
And that's all they need, baby.
Yes.
One look at Jared Leto in, I think he has dreads in that movie, and they're like, oh, yeah.
Man. Talk about panic.
Yeah, tell me about it. Why do you think they called it that, dude?
Oh, man. So,
and then while they're stuck in that room, they have a conversation where Brockton references the comic Groom Lake and the movie Paul, which I thought was really funny.
That's right. He does. Yeah, he does reference Paul. He's like, I thought the alien specimens were going to be little gray dudes, like in that movie Paul.
And I was reading that and I was like, of course Brockton seems like the type of MF that would have seen Paul.
You know, phenomenal, smash hit cultural touchstone, the movie Paul.
That's right.
Have you seen Paul?
And I have not, no. I have read Groom Lake, the other comic that he references. I read it like a while ago, so I don't really remember very much of it, but I did read it.
I have not heard of Groom Lake. I have seen Paul. I couldn't tell you a thing about the movie Paul except that Seth Rogen voices Paul.
Oh, he does. I didn't even know that. Okay.
Yeah, and he's a little
I
gray.
mean,
He's a little gray alien. He's one of the grays.
I would have assumed Seth Rogen was in it, but I would not have guessed that he was the one that voiced Paul. I would have assumed he was just like one of the humans that Paul was chilling with.
It's probably a scene where he gets stoned, you know.
Yeah, gives Paul a big blunt, and then we watch an alien get high for a while. Yeah,
Your Earth smoking device is fascinating.
that's right. It's like we wrote the movie ourselves. And then, while they're in the panic room, they're discussing with the doctor about like where this alien came from and how they were able to capture it. And then she makes some kind of like vague mention about how they had help catching it last time. And at this point in the story was when I went, oh yeah, this isn't an alien story. This is an AvP story,
That's
which
right,
means,
baby.
okay, now I know how they work the Predator into it.
Yep. She also mentions, I want to gloss over this, that Dr. Lavaro, what's his name? I don't care. The doctor.
Which one? The one that got killed?
The one that got his head ripped off.
Renfro.
I don't know where I was getting my other name from.
Neither do I.
Who cares? She's like, he set all this in motion. We should have had a strike team come in. They're on standby, but he kept saying everything was under control. And now this thing is running like crazy, killing everybody. It's all that motherfucker's fault. He deserved to die. Serves him right.
But also, in order to call the strike team down to like save them and remove them from this panic room, they need to like send like a code or like a QR code or something, and the only copy of it is on Renfro's ID card, so they can't get out of this locked down level of the lab unless they go out to his body and get his card, and the xenomorph is out there, which is why they're still trapped in this room.
Okay, I know where I got the name from. Earlier in the episode, in the story, I think Brockton references Bob Lazar, who was a conspiracy theorist.
Yeah, I think he does too.
Robert Lazar, who claimed to have worked on, with the government reverse engineering alien technology. He was like, I think he said something like, we'll be the first ones to set foot in Area 51 since Bob Lazar or something. So I think that's where I was getting the name from. Just don't want people to think I'm insane.
I did also really like right around this point, they ask the doctor more information about like how the xenomorph got captured, and her reason for not giving them the answer is, I'm not going to tell you because you two are already in enough legal trouble as it is.
Yeah.
And I was like, not only is that a good point, but that is a really clever way of getting around it to be able to hold off the reveal of the Predator until a little bit later.
Yes. And also to keep this story moving, because the story moves, right?
It does. Yeah.
This is like an action-packed story.
I think it's like 28, 30 pages right around there, something like that. But yeah, it goes by real fast.
Yeah, it doesn't fuck around. So they're like, so we have to get the badge from Dr. Renfield, Dr. Renaissance Fair.
Yeah.
But that thing is out there, right? And it could be anywhere out there. It could be like up in the rafters, It has like superior skills at stalking and concealing, but it's kind of dumb, right? So we need to like figure out how we're going to get out. It can't get in here, but we need to figure out how we're going to get out there. So what is their plan? Because my plan would be to just chuck Brockton one way and then run the other way.
I believe their plan, unless I'm forgetting a conversation they had, because again, it's been like over a week. And I didn't write down every single little thing that happened in the story. I believe their decision is that they're going to try to run outside, and if they can't get the ID badge, they're going to run down the hall and open up the other cell that has the other thing in it that subdued this xenomorph in the first place,
Right.
and then escape while the two of them are fighting.
Yeah, but they need to get something.
I think.
They need to get something first, right?
Oh, is that weird orb that she's carrying around? Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, she has to go get an orb.
Yeah, she does. That's right. She has to go get an orb. You heard it
Yes.
here first.
Yeah, it's important. The orb is important, guys.
No specific references as to whether we are for sure whether it's the Warrior King's orb or not.
Yeah,
It might be,
I think,
but it also might not be.
Well, I think it's the Warrior King's orb. So
I mean, it would make sense if it is, you know?
yeah. So this is this will mean something to 8 people out there, and for the rest of you, I'm not telling you. We're not telling you what it means.
Yeah, I mean, for all the listeners out there, that is a joke like that I said right now on the recording of the episode that really was only a joke for Neil and not really for anyone else.
Well, here's the thing. I was thinking I was going to make the exact same comment.
Of course you were.
Yes. So yeah, they're like, all right. So she opens the drawer and she pulls out the orb, right? And Brockton's like, that better be a weapon, right? Is that like a grenade or something? I don't know. And she's like, I'm going to hold on to it because we might need this. It's the backup plan for my non-plan, because my non-plan is that we're just going to try to run and grab the badge and get to that other lab. Like, it's a terrible fucking plan.
Yeah, I mean, on one hand, what else are they going to do? On the other hand, yeah, that is a terrible fucking plan.
Yeah, because otherwise that thing's just going to wait for us out there probably forever. Everyone else down here is already dead and nobody is coming here otherwise.
Yeah, that's right.
So, yeah, so out they go.
Yep, and of course the xenomorph immediately descends upon them and attacks them, and there's a little fun moment where April hits the xenomorph in the jaw and makes it accidentally bite its own tongue, and it goes, youch!
Yeah, that's rad. Yeah, they're going to the fourth door on the right. She gives Brockton, Brockton has a code, right?
I don't remember how they open the door, but they get down the hall to the door and manage to open it.
Right, that's the backup plan. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. They get down the hall to the door, they open it up, and then we actually have a pretty cool Predator entrance. The door, like, slides open, and I think, like, maybe, let's see. I think it's, like, menacing someone or on top of someone or about to pounce on someone or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but the door swings open and the Predator comes out and then immediately sees the xenomorph and then just picks it up and just chucks it hard down the hall.
Yes. Yeah.
And like, it doesn't say it in the description, but in my mind, I pictured it as being one-handed. Like, it grabs the xenomorph with one hand by the neck and just down the hallway.
Yeah. The one thing I want to say about the fights in this, really kinetic, really energetic. The xenomorph in this is feral as hell.
It sure is, yeah. It is insane.
Like, as much as the big chap is a stealthy killer, this xenomorph is the opposite.
Yeah, this is a monster, dude. It is straight up like an actual animal. It's crazy.
This thing is just birthed out of a saber-toothed tiger or something. I don't know.
Yeah, there is a scene later on near the end of the story that I went, is this xenomorph like mentally insane, like even for a xenomorph?
Yeah, it rules and it's terrifying. Are we past the point where Brockton slips in the puddle of xenomorph drool?
I don't remember when that happens, so I'm not sure.
Okay, well, he's a dumbass and he slips in a puddle of xenomorph drool, and I think that throws them off the original plan, and that's why they have to open the door for the Predator.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Speaking of Brockton being a dumbass, I got a genuine laugh out of after he sees the Predator. Brockton's like, oh my god, reptilians are real?
Yes, that's right, because he's an internet conspiracy theorist. Yeah,
He is,
it's a
yes.
great line.
And he like he's shocked to discover that reptilians are real, and then that was followed immediately after that with another genuine laugh out of me when the doctor is like, he's not a reptilian, and then reveals that they nicknamed him Dean.
Nicknamed him Dean. Yes.
Dean the Predator.
Just because, right?
Just saying it out loud right now is making me laugh. Why the fuck did they call him Dean? What are you thinking,
I
dog?
don't know. At least they didn't call him.
That is so funny. I love it.
At least it wasn't like in 1993 that they would have named him Bob, right?
Yeah, that's true. That's
Yeah.
very true. Yes.
Shout out to Bob. Yeah, I have a note here highlighted. Then Brockton slipped in a puddle of some viscous slime and fell hard on his ass, and that's a highlight in the book that made me laugh. Fuck this guy. I hate Brockton so much. You have no idea. I hate him. God, I hate him.
Well, at this point, let's see. After we find out that his name is Dean, there's a little bit more of a fight, and then the doctor hands Brockton the orb to like toss it to Dean. And there's a funny little typo in the narration here where the doctor says, "Hey, desperate times," and hands Brockton the orb. And then Brockton responds, "You're telling me." But in the narration, it says that Dean has that line.
Oops. You missed something.
Which is like, "You're telling me," and hands him the orb, and then Dean, who's fighting the xenomorph, just turns around and goes, "You're telling me," in like perfect unbroken English, and then just goes back to fighting the xenomorph.
What if he was playing it in Predator like recording voice?
Ah, shit, I didn't even think about that. That's a good point. Fuck.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't a typo. Maybe it was world building.
Could be.
But anyway, Dean uses the orb against the xenomorph and basically smashes it onto the wall, and it's like inside of it, it's filled with like this blue, like viscous goo.
We're skipping a lot of stuff here. I just want to.
Oh, I thought that was the next thing.
Well, isn't that that's kind of the end?
I mean, I thought we were at the end.
I want to talk a little bit about the fight, because the fight goes on with like the Predator. There's the scene where the Predator locks the xenomorph into like one of the containment pens, like containment rooms.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay. No, sorry, you're right. Looking at it now, due to some formatting error in my notes, I put two of my sentences of notes in the opposite order. So somehow they got switched around with each other.
Okay.
So yes, that is correct.
He
does get trapped first, yes.
This is where I was going with how feral this xenomorph is. The Predator manages to, like, the Predator's getting kind of beat up by this xenomorph, but he manages to throw the xenomorph into one of these containment pens.
He throws him into the one he came out of.
The one that he came out of, and he closes the door on it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And they're all like, "Don't worry,"
and starts laughing at him.
Yeah, they're like, "Yeah, don't worry. It's a graphene and crystal matrix polymer blend. It should hold it." And the xenomorph starts smashing, like it rips its own arm off, like bites its own arm off, tears its arm off, and starts smashing at the glass with its severed arm, etching and deepening damage with the acid blood.
Yeah, literally rips its own arm off to bleed on the wall, to weaken the wall enough to be able to punch through it and attack the Predator again.
It rips its own arm off to bleed through the door.
Kick ass.
Which is like next level. Like you think about that scene in Alien Resurrection where they all all the penned up xenomorphs kill one to get it to melt through the floor so they can all escape. This one's like, I don't need this arm to kill this motherfucker.
Well, yeah, that's right. He has a reason to think that, as it turns out. But
I just need to get out here. I just need to get out here so I can tear this guy up. I don't know.
Right.
That blew me away. I was like, this is sick as hell. This is rad.
Yeah, it was really fucking kick ass. I liked it a lot too.
Yes. So now is when Brockton, I believe, is going to roll what they think is a grenade, roll the Warrior King's orb down to Dean.
And Dean picks it up and of course immediately recognizes what it is, so he just picks up the orb and smashes it on the wall, and inside of it there's just like a whole bunch of blue viscous goop. And Brockton's like, well, if he was just gonna smash it, I could have done that. But while he's fighting off the xenomorph with one hand, Dean scoops up a bunch of the like goo onto his other arm, and it like starts eating away like it's acid or fire or something.
Yeah.
And then he just starts punching the xenomorph with it, eventually literally punching his arm down into the xenomorph's mouth, like embedding his forearm into the thing's face.
Yes.
And it starts screaming and thrashing and writhing around, and the predator, sorry, Dean, pulls his arm out, and like the muscle and skin on his arm is starting to melt off, because apparently it's some kind of like, acid based thing, but it's also happening to the xenomorph, and it starts like screaming and clawing at itself and starts like eating apart and melting from the inside out. And like all of its like organs are like gooping out of its body as it's writhing around and screaming until it finally dies. And then Dean's like, hell yeah. And then also dies himself.
It rules.
Yeah, it was really kick-ass.
Right before that all happens, there's a part where like April grabs Brockton or feels Brockton grab her hand. She looks down and sees Brockton has grabbed her hand, and he squeezes it and he says, "I'm sorry," and she says, "Fuck you." And
she does, yes, that's correct.
Yeah, but she smiles when she says it. But I was like,
yeah, apparently she likes him more than we do as readers.
Yeah. Anyway, I love this death of melting the xenomorph with stronger acid than the xenomorph has, essentially. I don't know if it's technically actually acid, but it's the same effect, right? It's very cool.
Yeah, it does the same thing. It melts as if it is acid, but whether it actually is literally acid or not, I don't remember if the story ever even says.
Yeah, it might as well be. I mean, it's
like I said, it has the same effect. So
maybe this blue liquid is a thing that is around in the Predator universe. I don't know.
Could be. Yeah, neither do I.
But yeah, it was dope.
But yeah, like I said, Dean immediately dies, and then after that, now that both the aliens are dead, they manage to get the ID card off of Renfro's body, and spoiler alert, turns out Renfro was the leaker that Brockton was in contact with.
No way.
Anyway, I mean, there were only 4 characters in the entire story, so one of them had to be it.
Yeah.
And then... basically after that, Brockton and April get arrested and are going to be thrown in prison for the rest of their lives until the doctor pulls some strings, and she's like, basically, they didn't do anything. It's fine. Let them go. And so instead they, I think, serve like 5 years in prison and then are like getting monitored for like a decade or something after that. I don't remember the exact specifics of their sentencing, but she manages to lower their sentencing. And then it even says that April never sees the doctor or Brockton again, which I'm sure you were thrilled about.
Yeah, fuck that guy. 6 months in a federal prison, no visitors, calls, or internet access permitted. And then counseling sessions and lectures by unsmiling men in black suits. They let April out after 3 months, though she had to wear an ankle bracelet for the balance of her time. So, yeah, so Dr. Capea like really pulled some strings, really got her out of spending 15 to 20 years in a supermax prison.
And then after that, like I said, she never ends up seeing Brockton again. But after that, she's basically like, well, I can't live like a normal, regular life anymore. And she just kind of becomes a homeless drifter after that.
Drifted for a while, feeling disconnected, but she was alive. And now she's going to take the fight straight to Weyland-Yutani.
That's right, baby. Let's go. Don't worry, listeners. That doesn't actually happen.
No. Good story.
But that is how the story ends, though. And yes, it was a good story. It was a lot of fun. It moved. Still laughing about how the Predator's name is Dean. That's really funny to me.
Yes. One character you love to hate, another character. April was honestly just kind of there, right?
Yeah, she's fine. I mean, she didn't, to be honest, she didn't really have much of a personality. She was just kind of there. Yeah.
Dr. Kupeo was just kind of there. Dr. Renfro wasn't really there.
He wasn't really there either. That's correct.
It was fun. It was really,
Yeah, it was. It genuinely was a good story, and I had a lot of fun reading it.
it was just a good drawn out close quarters predator, like singular unarmed predator versus xenomorph battle that was over the top, violent, and very cool.
Yeah, it rocked.
Yeah. And again, that xenomorph was just a goddamn monster.
He sure was.
Our next story, Isla Matanzas by Stephen L. Sears, a little bit different.
It sure is. Yeah.
Yeah.
The last story, Below Top Secret, I would like after I was done reading it, I was like, that was a really cool short story that I had a lot of fun reading that worked really well in the short story format. This story, after I was done reading it, I was like, this should have been a movie, dog.
Yeah, this story is a little more epic in scale.
It is. Spoiler alert, of the two of them, this is the one that I liked more. Like, I read the first one and went, wow, that story was really good. And then I read this one and went, wow, this one's really good.
Yeah, the first one feels like a vignette. There's a good, it's a really strong opening punch, right?
Yeah.
This one is now just more of a narrative driven adventure. Let's talk about the author real fast. Stephen Sears works a lot in television. He was a co-executive producer for Xena Warrior Princess, which is pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
He also, I found this interesting. This ties into the story. Pardon me. He lived in St. Augustine, Florida. Yeah, and graduated from University of Florida, or went to University of Florida and Florida State.
Cool.
Real Florida boy here. Hell yeah.
It sure is.
He wrote for the A-Team. He wrote for the Swamp Thing TV series.
Oh, hell yeah. That's a good show.
This one is for me. He wrote for the TV series Raven, starring Jeff Meek as an ex-Special Forces Black Dragon ninja.
All right, so this is the guy. All right.
Yeah. Again, Xena Warrior Princess Sheena, the television series Sheena. A number of other things. I'm not going to read all of his credits, but he's primarily, again, a television screenwriter. And,
hell yeah.
And I feel like you can feel that in the work.
Yeah, this certainly has a lot stronger of like a narrative thrust of it. Like there's a lot more going on, and the story is more about making sure you understand like the events and the order they take place in, rather than just like you seeing the stuff unfold like it did in the first story.
Yes.
It feels a lot more narrative is what I'm trying to say.
Yes, and I want to apologize again for bad Spanish pronunciation. This story follows a Spanish nobleman in 1768 named Jorge Rodriguez de Aviles. Again, pardon me. Very bad pronunciation. I am doing my best, everybody.
He's originally from Spain, but for most of his life has been living in San Agustin, La Florida.
Yeah, otherwise known as St. Augustine, Florida.
That's right.
Interesting how that works out.
Huh, what are the chances?
Yeah. The story takes place in 1768. I think I already said that. And this is primarily narrated by him, although there's a little twist at the end.
Yeah, it is narrated by him, and it's narrated by him in the past tense, which does signify he, in fact, survives the events of the story.
Right.
But,
he's recounting this event. And
he is, yes.
Kenny, as we're going through this, we're going to hit a point where I'm going to be struggling a little bit, because as I go through these, I highlight important points on my on my e-reader here.
Mhm.
And half of those highlights got cleared somehow while I was going through this story. Well, a third of them, maybe. So,
all right. When the story starts off, he has been trapped on this island for 2 years. He got like shipwrecked or whatever and hasn't been able to like find help or get off.
yes.
So he's just been surviving on this island for 2 years by this point.
Right. He was heading back. He was returning from Spain back to Florida and got shipwrecked. And he's all by himself on this island.
Or so you think.
Right. Until he writes about the Nephilim and the Malvados.
The Nephilim and the Malvados. That's right.
We should note, as you might expect from a Spanish man in the 1700s, he is extremely Catholic.
Very, yes.
So this is all being put through the filter of a man of God.
Yep. And so that is why the Malvados are demons from hell, and the Nephilim are angels that have descended down from heaven to fight off the demons and save Earth.
Yep.
In actuality, what happens is that some xenomorph eggs are on the island, and then predators show up to kill them.
Yep. What's so fascinating about this too is like we know that those eggs were put there by the predators, right?
Yeah, they sure were.
Yeah, that's what they do.
And not only do we find all of this out, but we find all of it out very quickly. Like by the end of the first page of the story, we've already gotten ovomorphs and chestbursters and predators showing up and like full on actual battles between the two groups.
Yes.
Like when Neil likes to say it doesn't waste his time, this story is like 6 paragraphs in. We're already getting action scenes. It starts off real fast.
We're in the thick of it, right?
Yes.
So one detail I like is that the facehuggers seem to have mostly attached to wild monkeys, which is just awesome to think about. So they are like xenomorph monkey, monkey-born xenomorph. So they are just climbing around in the trees like crazy,
Yeah, there's multiple moments in this story where the xenomorphs are described as swinging through the trees, which I thought was a really fun visual.
Extremely cool visual. And the again, he refers to what we connect to the predators are Nephilim. He thinks that they have come down to fight these demons from hell.
And one thing I really like is about because it's the 1700s, so he doesn't have the level of technology that predators do, but also like you pointed out, he is a Catholic, so he filters everything through a religious worldview.
Yeah.
The only way he can describe predator cloaking technology is them being able to turn into ghosts, which I thought was a really clever way of describing it.
Yeah. Yeah, he refers to them as avenging angels. Also, correct me if I'm wrong, they have their shoulder cannons and things like that. They don't have it's a little bit different from like what we saw in Prey maybe. They don't have the super advanced technology we see in some of the later Predator movies, but they aren't primitive in their technology either, right? Like
It's the tech that the predators have in this story is more advanced than the ones that are in Prey, because like the shoulder cannons that these three have are actual classic predator style shoulder cannons, because if you recall in Prey, they're like arrow launchers basically.
Right.
They launch a physical projectile, whereas in this one, they're regular predator shoulder cannons.
Right. Fire erupted from their fists and strange beams cast from their shoulder weapons rained destruction. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, that's rad, so I'm not going to complain about it.
Yeah.
Or
so he also goes out of their way.
anachronism.
There's 3 predators. Sorry, Nephilim. There's 3 predators that show up. The leader of them is a normal looking predator that he names Adelantado.
Yes.
Then there is a really big one, the tough guy, that he of course calls Gigante. And then the third one is a little teeny tiny wiry one that's slipping around and uses his cloaking all the time and acts like a stereotypical D&D rogue. And he calls him Assassino, of course.
Assassino. Yeah, I love that. They are basically an adventuring party, aren't they?
They sure are. Yeah.
You got your rogue and you've got your tank and you've got your cleric's not really right. Your fighter, I guess. Right.
Yeah. And there was a very funny line that made me laugh where he's watching, because up on the top of the mountain, he finds a cave, and that's where he's been living for the last 2 years. And in the cave, he can oversee pretty much the entire island. And he like goes up there to watch the predators fighting the xenomorphs from the mouth of the cave. And while he's up there, he sees a British ship arriving towards the island. And he has an absolutely great line that legitimately made me laugh, where he sees that it's a British ship coming in, and he says, "Even had it flown the hated Lutheran cross, I still would have rejoiced." And I was like, yeah, get their ass.
So he has two items. He has a machete and he has like a spyglass, right?
Yeah.
And he's watching Adelantado essentially try to pull a 300 on some xenomorphs at the top of this mountain, right? Mm-hmm. And force them into like a kill box.
Yeah.
Like force them into an area where they have to come at him one at a time and he can just like slaughter them. But he fucks up and gets overwhelmed. And
then if I recall correctly, I believe he gets his ass kicked down the side of the mountain.
Yes. And that's when he sees the large ship finally. And yes. And unfortunately he does not have the hated Lutheran rose. But he needs to run down there and stop them and warn them, because he's like, there are demons from hell here, do not come any closer. So he rushes down to try to meet them at the beach, but when he gets down there, multiple people have already disembarked from the ship, and he's like, oh no. Yes, 2 longboats were already beached and a third was coming ashore. And people, my good lord, there were people. Several Englishmen, probably 10 of them, and the rest were women, 20 or more. These were slave traders, everybody. They had a bunch of women from Africa in chains.
And they're definitely English slavers. And there is a scene again that like got a legitimate chuckle out of me, where the slavers are just like searching around looking, and one of them comes across like the injured unconscious predator, and literally the first thought he has is, I wonder how much money I could get for selling this guy.
Yes, but instead they all get killed by xenomorphs.
They sure do. Like I said in my notes, first line, insane to have the dude look at the injured predator and go, hell, he might be worth something. Second line, it's actually fine though. He literally gets ripped to pieces like 3 sentences later.
Yep. All of the xenomorphs kind of overwhelm. The English fire their muskets, but without aim, fear and shock rendering their minds useless. The trees shook and 3 more malvados jumped up from the jungle onto the sand, etc. They're fucked. They're boned, right?
They sure
are. The
are.
only people, our man Jorge here, he sort of makes his way into the ocean, just kind of hoping maybe they can't swim, right? And one of the Englishmen does also.
Same thing, yeah. We find out later his name is Edward, but we don't know that at the moment. So yeah, another English guy like also swims out with him.
When they kind of when they kind of surface, they see that like the beach is just kind of covered in blood. All of the Englishmen are dead, and also turns out some of these guys can swim because they've gotten to the main boat and are also absolutely killing everyone on ship because they hear the musket sounds like coming from behind them from the main ship as well. So the slave ship that the slavers arrived on are basically, as Neil said, boned as well. So what are they gonna do? So they come back to the
They come back to land. They come out of the water.
Well,
and
not yet.
oh, they don't yet. Okay, sorry.
No. They just are sort of watching because it turns out that the Malvados are cautious of the women, and the women are moving in this like kind of in mass as one group, right?
Mm-hmm.
Sort of together, and it seems to be enough to like make the xenomorph sort of stay away. And they're sort of moving around together, and they're able to like get the keys off of one of the bodies to start unshackling each other and start collecting weapons and things to protect themselves, right? To sort of arrange themselves into a fighting stance, like a U-shaped fighting stance, or formation rather, is what the word I'm looking for. So when the xenomorphs finally do move on them, they're able to like effortlessly start fighting back against them.
Yeah, it turns out, long story short, these women that they took are slaves are an entire tribe of just straight African warriors, and
Right.
the xenomorphs attack them and get their asses kicked.
Yeah, they're like an elite noble guard who's the name for them I don't have in front of me, but I will come across it.
I have it right here. The ladies are the Minos, the king's
yes.
the king's personal guard, captured from the kingdom of Dahomey. It says here.
Right. Yes. Essentially, they were put into a position where they had to sort of sacrifice themselves to capture so that their king could escape.
Yeah.
And now they're going to be sold as slaves. But they're like, fuck that. We're not going to be slaves.
Yeah, and so instead they absolutely kick some xenomorphs' ass, tear them apart, and right as they're finishing up fighting some of the xenomorphs that are currently there, Adelantado wakes up and wrecks shop and kills the rest of the xenomorphs. And I believe at this point he runs into the jungle, but I don't remember for sure.
He's really badly injured. He's been like ripped in the torso. His ribs are exposed.
Mm-hmm.
And he had one of the xenomorphs in his grip, and it sort of slashed at him more and killed him. The demon, and he fell again. Anyway, he killed the xenomorph was about to kill Adelantado when the leader of the women ran toward him and sort of saved him, right? Adelantado ripped the head of the demon from the body, then tore towards the jungle, pausing only to retrieve his mask. His hand never reached it as he fell to the ground, too wounded to move. So he was going to run into the jungle, but he collapsed instead. And immediately 3 of the women ran and started guarding him. And
then gathering up herbs to like treat his wounds. Yeah.
Right. They were going to kill him, but their leader, again, whose name is not in front of me,
Nan,
there we go, stops them from killing him, and instead they start treating his wounds.
And we find, go ahead.
I think it's important to note that some of the women do die in this battle with the xenomorphs. Mm-hmm. Like they're not an invincible tribe, but they all, many of them do survive. At this point, our man, Jorge and Edward do come out of the water finally.
Yeah, and this is how we find all of that stuff out about like who they are and where they're from and everything. Because turns out Edward is not actually a slaver himself. He got hired by the slavers as a translator, and that's why he was there.
Yeah, but he's thrown his hat in with the slavers, so
he sure is. Exactly. And that is a through line that Jorge has where he's like, okay, look, I know you think you're like mitigating the worst of it by not being a slaver yourself, but like, bruv, come on. And also it's very funny how during this conversation, when Edward is telling Jorge about like who the women are and where they're from and everything, the narrative, because remember, we're hearing this as Jorge's recollection after the fact. The story grinds to a halt so that Jorge can go, Nan was the hottest woman I've ever seen in my entire life.
Fucking hot, dude. You have no idea how
like
fucking hot. Oh my God.
He does not shut up about how much of a babe she is. He brings it up literally like
Mamma
5
mia.
times.
awooga, right?
That's right. Yeah, he literally brings it up like 4 or 5 times, and it is so fucking funny because like
It
this is the
is.
point where like like I said, they're telling the story in the past tense, like he's in the present recounting the story that happened to him in the past. But like I thought it was just like a narrative conceit. So when he started adding that stuff in, I was like, oh, like it must be that the structure of the story is that he's like literally telling us this story because why else would this information be in there?
Guys, I cannot stress how beautiful she is. She is a babe with a capital B.
That's right. And luckily, though, spoiler alert, turns out there's a whole ass ship right there parked by the island that is fully stocked and they can absolutely use to get off of this island.
Yeah, Nana's like, we're going to use that ship to go home. And Edward's like, you can't sail it. And Jorge's like, aha, but I can help you sail it. I am a navigator. I can get you home. And she's like, good, done, settled. Now you have value to us, right? And Edward, you do too. So this is the plan. We're going to kill these motherfuckers to make sure that they don't follow us onto that ship and kill us. We can't let these things survive. And then we're going to bounce.
And so the first part of their plan relies on Nan, who takes Jorge with her, to go to the location where the three predators hang out at night. And she basically goes there and gasses them up. And to the point where they decide that the 5 of them are going to be temporary clanmates, which is wild because that means that's the second story in a row about a badass babe who becomes clanmates with a group of predators. But AvP stories love that shit. But anyway, their plan is basically Jorge has to go up to the cave he's been living in and basically direct things from there while the rest of them are on the ground. And the first part of their plan is they're going to track down where the xenomorph eggs are and burn them.
Right. So this means they have healed Adelantado's wounds. He has regained consciousness and he has left without injuring or killing any of them, which is something we kind of glossed over.
Yeah, I believe that's the point where he sits up and then looks at him and then runs off into the jungle.
Right.
I remember that happened, but I think it was then, not earlier.
And he runs off without his mask. So when they are forming this plan to go in, Jorge is like, okay, so we're all going, and Edward's like, no, just you and her, and bring your map too, because Jorge's got like this map he's made of the entire island because he knows it really well.
Yeah.
So they just go, they just go together, and he makes this comment where he's watching like these, they go and the predators all come out and they're like on guard. They got their weapons drawn and all this kind of stuff. And Nan first gives Adelantado his spear back and then gives him his mask back. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then like to show like, hey, respects. And then he like points to his wounds that have like healed over from the tree sap stuff that they have, the tree sap salve and bandages that they have applied to him and everything. So like he's recognizing what they did for him. Mm-hmm. And then they like have this like silent agreement with like showing the map. They like make this whole plan to take out the xenomorphs, burn the eggs, all of this without even being able to speak to each other.
Without sharing a language with each other. Yeah.
Right. And Jorge's like, I'm just watching these two like brilliant soldiers, these like military strategists develop this plan with each other without even having to exchange words, just pointing to the map and motioning things to each other. And they just understand each other. It's just like this whole other language that they just have in common.
Yeah.
And I thought that was pretty fascinating and kind of cool. It puts this thought in my head of, are the other predators going to like bust on Adelantado for like, yeah, you had to have a human fix your wounds, you little wuss.
And come up with a plan to kill him. I thought that was our job, nerd.
Bro, you lost your mask.
I mean, if
you
that does
fucking
happen,
dork.
it doesn't happen on camera, so we don't actually see it. But
We didn't lose our masks, you loser, right?
that's right.
What are the lines of like predator? Like, when is it okay for a predator to get help from another species, and when is it not? Is it always
question.
okay? Because so
Yeah.
far it's always seemed to be okay.
It's always ended up being okay at the end. Yeah,
Is it only okay when it's humans?
I don't know.
If it was like an engineer, would it be cool? Maybe we'll find out when we finish Fire and Stone, right?
Maybe, could be.
It just seems like I get what they're doing, right? You need to, you can't just have Jorge sitting in a cave watching predators and aliens fight. Which, although maybe you can also, right?
I mean, that is kind of sort of what happens, but like it's fine.
That's true. But I guess they always have to inject the human element into it somehow. But but again, to what you said, this is the second time there's been a team up,
Yeah. Second time in a row of stories we've read where that's happened. Yes.
Well, there's, I wonder how many Alien versus Predator things end up that way.
Probably a fair amount of them. I mean,
Is it what's the hit rate? 100%?
I would say, isn't that what the climax of the first AvP movie hinges on?
100%, yes.
Yeah.
Requiem, I don't remember, but I kind of think so. A lot of people out there probably also don't remember because they hate that movie and don't want to revisit it.
Most people seem to hate that movie, yeah.
The Dark Horse series, 100% hinged on that.
Uh-huh.
The first short story we read, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, in a more minor capacity than it is here, but yes.
And now this one.
I mean, I guess that's the only way, how should I put this, to involve a human in the climax of when a predator fights a xenomorph. I guess that's the only way they can think of to do it, is by having the predator team up with the human against the xenomorph. But
I've made this comparison before, like the Freddy versus Jason comparison, right? Where eventually the humans have to sort of, they're not siding with Jason, but they're like, we have to point Jason at Freddy. Like the movie starts with Freddy pointing Jason at humans to get them to think it's Freddy killing people so he can come back. And at the end of the movie, they're like, we have to point Jason at Freddy because that's the only way we're going to be able to stop him. So Jason, but during that time, Jason's also still killing humans and killing their friends and stuff.
he sure is,
So it's not like a real team up, right?
Yeah.
I'd like to see the Aliens versus Predator stories where that's what's going on a little bit, where it's not so much the enemy of my enemy is my friend. It's the enemy of my enemy is still my enemy.
But also that other guy's enemy.
Yeah, but we're all using each other, but also killing each other at the same time. Anyway.
So yeah, basically their plan is that Jorge is directing them from like the cave, and their plan is to light the eggs, but also light the trees on fire. Because remember, the xenomorphs have been traveling around through the trees because they come from monkeys.
Right.
So they have to light the eggs to make the xenomorphs chase them, light the trees on fire so the xenomorphs have to pursue you on the ground, and then force them to chase the predator, not to chase the predators, chase the humans up the mountain. And then when they get to the top of the mountain, the predators come out from hiding and trap the xenomorphs in a kill box and just rip them to shreds. That's their plan.
Right. Yeah, they've got wood spikes that they've made. They can run the xenomorphs off a cliff. They fall on the spikes, and then they can kill the ones that don't. They've got fire bombs, fire grenades they've made out of something or other. They've spent all night preparing, right?
Yeah.
Or all day, or they spent enough time to preparing to be able to do this.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of them, so I believe that it could happen. I believe it more than how much work Arnold Schwarzenegger did in Predator to set all of those traps without the Predator just coming to get them.
Yeah, that's fair.
And yeah, anyway, they kick the plan off.
Yeah, and it works.
It just works. It just fucking works.
It just works. It happens, and then after all the xenomorphs are dead, I think it like cuts to the next morning, and Jorge and Edward are basically just going through checking to make sure all the xenomorphs are dead, and like the warriors are celebrating, and they're like, "We didn't see the Nephilim again. Presumably, they just already went back to heaven now that their divine plan was finished."
Yeah, that must be it.
And then I already know that after I say this, Neil is going to go back and fill in some more stuff. But basically what happens after that is he takes all of this time telling this story. And then afterwards, there's just one paragraph where he goes, "Anyway, we sailed home and stayed with the warriors for a while, and then I lived with Edward, and then he fucking got the plague and died, and then now here we are." And he just like wraps up the entire everything that happens after that in like 3 sentences, and it was very funny.
Pretty much. No, that's basically it. The only thing is that eventually Jorge wants to go back to Spain. And he's like, I wrestle with my decision to return to Spain, but eventually I do, and that's where I'm coming to take this story.
Yeah,
and he takes the story to the church.
Yeah, here's where we get an 11th hour sudden twist. We find out that the entire story we've been reading has been transcribed and dictated from him to a church scribe, and he's been dictating this entire story in hopes of meeting the Pope and telling him about a nest of demons on Earth that he discovered. And to prove that all of the story actually happens, he literally brought home a xenomorph skull with him and leaves it with the scribe to give to the Pope.
Yes, he did, to give to Cardinal Cartega.
Yeah,
Yes.
and then it's funny
with the
too
hopes
because
that it will then be passed on to the Pope.
yeah,
And the Cardinal's like,
absolutely
no. Look, we already have the Bible, and this doesn't exactly line up with the Bible and the things that we have been telling people and the things that people have been believing. And I don't really want people to hear this story and stop believing the things that we want them to believe.
So what he does is he picks up the pages of the story that this scribe just finished transcribing and then just tosses all of them into the fireplace and burns it up. Or, as I wrote in my notes, turns out what we've been reading was dictation Jorge gave to a church scribe in hopes of telling the Pope, brought a Xeno skull as well, except some fuck-ass cardinal burns the dictation instead.
Yes.
And that's how the story ends. He burns the dictation, and then he tells the scribe, "Look, you never heard this. You never met this Jorge guy. This story was never told. And in exchange, sometime in the next few weeks, I will come to your church and make a personal appearance and make a very generous donation." And the scribe goes, "You got it," and then walks out of the room.
Yeah.
And then the cardinal picks up the xenomorph skull and just stares into the empty eye sockets. And he's like, "Man, this thing is fucked up. It kind of is demonic. Shit, maybe this guy was right." And then the story just ends there.
Yep. There's a xenomorph skull in the Vatican somewhere.
Yeah.
Probably to this day.
Yeah, dude.
Good story.
Good
Really
story. Loved it. It was extremely cinematic in the sense of I could see the movie playing out on a screen. Like I said, I definitely finished reading this and thought that would make a cool fucking movie.
The way it was narrated, the way it was dictated and written felt very, as far as I know, accurate to a 1760s Spanish, 1770s by the time the story is being written.
Yeah.
Spanish Catholic nobleman, right?
Yep.
Translated into English. A lot of references, again, a lot of, filtered through the eyes of a person with those beliefs at that time. It felt believable to me.
Yeah, there's
I,
a lot of little asides in the narration that, like, like how I mentioned, the hated Lutheran Rose, or at one point he was talking about how he, like, fought some Englishmen back in the day, and at one point he refers to the bastard Oglethorpe that, like,
yes,
took over some castle that he was involved in or whatever. And
right.
it's like all those little, like, narrative flourishes that serve no purpose other than to just fill out the guy's characterization and give you, like, a feel of, like, accurately representing the time and place. That's the only
Hmm.
purpose they're there for. Was probably
Yeah.
my favorite parts of the story. Like, I'm still laughing at the line, the bastard Oglethorpe. That's
Yes.
very funny.
Yeah, he talks about his own sort of adventures, in the Navy,
Yeah.
for instance, right? It was great. It was really fun. Also, as he's waiting for his, to throw his fire grenade to signal that the xenomorphs, the Malvados, were coming during their big plan to exterminate all of them.
Yeah.
I just want everyone to know he starts singing to himself the song of Saint Augustus, which is Te Deum Laudamus, which is why we use that music in the intro.
That is correct. Yes. That is where that
Yes.
came from. Yeah. For the record, that was Neil's idea, not mine.
It was my idea, and of course we use like an instrumentally backed version
Yeah.
of this very, very old hymn. So, not the same version he was probably. I mean, the same lyrics that he was singing to himself, but not the same.
Yeah, for sure.
You guys know what I'm saying. It's a school night.
It sure is. But yeah, great story. Had a lot of fun reading it. I really liked the character of Jorge. He was great. I like to imagine after spending all that time gassing up how hot Nan was, he did say that after he left, him and Edward went and lived at the Kingdom of Dahomey with them for a while. And then Edward died, like, 6 or 7 years later of the plague. I'd like to think that he was living with Nan, not Edward, because, like, after all this time, he definitely should be, I don't want to say get the girl, but you know what I mean. He spent all this time pining after her, so let's hope that
Yeah.
he was able to seal the deal.
Yeah, sure. But hey, he's a man of honor and a man of God. So,
That's also true, so maybe not.
Yeah. Yeah, I really dug this. I don't know which of the two is honestly my favorite story
Mhm.
of the two. I honestly, no, fuck that. This one is. This one,
This one definitely is. That's no shade on the other one, which is a very good
no.
story, but this one worked on every level to me, whereas there were a couple of things about the previous one, like, the fact that the characters weren't really, we didn't get a description. Brockton kind of sucked. There were
Yeah.
only 4 characters and one of them got, like, no characterization whatsoever. The first story was good, but had some flaws. This one was good enough that whatever flaws were there, I didn't even notice while I was reading it, because I was like, oh, hell yeah, like 2 or 3 times a page.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is also just it's just different enough from everything else that we've read
Mm-hmm.
in the way that, like, in the structure, in the narration, in the way that it's told, the period that it takes place in, everything, that it felt refreshing, right? Because even the last story, even though it's present day, it still boils down to people inside a research facility while a predator and a xenomorph fight, which is kind of a generic setting for this franchise.
I mean, it could take place anywhere. Like, they happened to set it in an underground research facility, but they could have been, like, in a cabin in the middle of the woods, or on a spaceship, or in the middle of the desert. Like,
Right.
it doesn't matter that they specifically were in a research facility. It was set there to just get them isolated.
Sure.
But
even
like,
the fact that
the
that
second
it's-
story felt like it was like the setting was more necessary for everything to work the way it did.
Right. And even the fact that it takes place in a research facility it could be a research facility in any place or time also.
Yeah. Also, yes.
So, yeah, but again, 2 bangers really. I think
For sure,
that was
yes.
I think Below Top Secret was a nice opening swing, like just a real kinetic like salvo.
For sure, yes.
And then this, just kept it going, right? It slowed
Yeah,
the pace
like
down a little bit. It expanded the scope of everything, and really just opened you up to like, oh, there's a lot. I can expect a lot from this anthology, things that I haven't really experienced before, right?
like Isla Matanzas is the better of the 2 stories, but Below Top Secret is the better of the 2 stories to start the anthology off with.
Sure.
Yeah, because like
Yes.
you want to just be like what's a story where it's just there's a xenomorph and there's a predator and they fight, no flourish, no frills, just like a basic entry level. This is the type of stuff that you can expect. Like this is the starting point and it branches out from here. Not having read the rest of the stories, I don't know if there's one that's better, but like reading the first story, I was like, yeah, this feels like a good way to start off a book like this.
Yeah. I'm excited to read a few more of these.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah. So let's put out another call to action if anybody's interested. If we don't get a lot of suggestions, we'll just pick a few. All right.
Yeah, I mean,
But,
that's the plan. Yeah, basically.
yeah. But if there are specific stories in the Aliens versus Predators Ultimate Prey anthology that people are interested in us covering, I think we're going to do probably 2 more of these. Again,
So
get us into the new year.
So yeah, if you have a couple of suggestions, we're looking for, probably 4 more stories total to do. So if there's 1 or 2 you want us to cover, let us know.
Yeah. Mother at crewexpendable.net, YouTube comments, or Instagram DMs, Twitter DMs, Twitter @, whatever.
That's right.
You guys know. Yeah, we'll compile it all and we'll make a selection. This recording got pushed so much that we may have to make our own choices for the next episode. So
yeah, that's fine.
We'll see how that shakes out. But definitely interested in what people think are the best stories in this, or the most interesting stories in this. Things that are that maybe go against conventions, right? I just went on a long rant in the middle of our last discussion about how about some stories where it's not about humans and predators having to team up,
Mm-hmm. That'd be nice.
I'd be interested in something like that. I don't know if I'm in, you know what? Actually, I would be interested in a story where a human and a xenomorph had to team up
Against the predator, that'd be fun.
Against a predator. That'd be weird, right?
Sure, I'd read that. Hell yeah.
That feels like a time where it would be, we got to point the xenomorph at the predator, but like we're not friends,
Or maybe they are friends.
All right. Okay. Season 3 of Alien Earth.
Yeah, why not become friends with a xenomorph? Wouldn't you if you could? Come on.
There's precedent for it now.
That's right, there is. See? I'm smart.
Yeah, let us know, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And hey, don't forget to listen to our Jason X episode over on the Crew Expandable podcast feed.
Speaking of pointing Jason at people to, kill them. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, he does a good job pointing himself at people in that.
He sure does. Damn, he's very good at it.
Kenny, I think we need to try to do another bonus episode before the year's over.
I think we do too, yeah.
I think it should be on the faculty.
Okay, that's fine. Funny story, true story. I've never seen The Faculty.
I watched it last week.
I'm sure you did. But yeah, if that's what we do cover, then it'll be the first time I've ever seen it.
Hell yeah. All right, you heard it here. New bonus episode coming soon on The Faculty.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So, hey, go subscribe to Crew Expandable, Not a Xenomorph podcast in your podcast feed, or click the link in the episode description. And if you want to keep us doing bonus episodes, go over to coolerbot.net.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
And we will love you forever for it.
Mm,
Yeah. Spend some of that Christmas money.
that's right,
Right.
baby.
Yeah.
On us.
Sure. Because we don't have any.
That's why do you think we started asking for donations?
Yeah. I don't know that this is the best way to get people to.
Hey, man, we're that's not even necessarily true. We're just riffing. All right, we're just cracking jokes. We're having fun.
It's a school night.
It's 10 p.m. on a school night. You know, we're getting a little wacky. It's fine.
Yeah. Let's wrap it up, Kenny.
You got it.
Where can people find you on the internet?
I'm at CYHOBBEZ on Blue Sky and Twitter and a few other things. Neil, how about you?
I am going to ask everybody to subscribe to They Made Another One, our friend Corey's podcast about movie sequels, reboots, and remakes, because on Christmas Eve, there'll be a little special episode Corey and I did on a certain magical TV sitcom Christmas episode.
So you actually did it, huh?
Yeah, we did it.
Nice job.
Yeah, and this is the first plug for that. Where can people find our show?
Our Twitter is at CrewExpendapod. Our Blue Sky is at CrewExpendable. Our Instagram and our threads are both at CrewExpendablePod. Our website is crewexpendable.net. As Neil said earlier, email us at mother@crewexpendable.net. Our YouTube page is youtube.com/@crewexpendable. If you want to toss us a few bucks, then you can do that over at coolerbot.net. And I forgot to add the new URL to the pinned list I have. So Neil, what is the URL for the bonus show?
It is coolerbot.transistor.fm or search Crew Expandable in your podcast feed. That is Crew Expandable, not a Xenomorph podcast.
That's right.
Bonus content for everybody.
Whether you donate it or not, you can still listen to it.
And as always, thank you for everybody who has supported the show. We love all of you. And it is, as always, totally up to you if you want to do that or not. All of our content will always be available to everyone for free because we love you all. And we want everybody to hear what to be able to hear this.
That's correct.
And hearing that sentence is why you understand how we can't charge for this.
It's fine. It probably made sense. Don't worry about it.
We will be back soon talking more Aliens versus Predators Ultimate Prey stories. So until then, fuck you,
Brockton.
Brockton.